My favorite sentence from, well, probably my entire life. I just read it a couple days ago. I think it was in Variety. They were doing a review of the new miniseries, When They See Us, by the world's greatest director, Ava DuVernay, director of the world's greatest movie, A Wrinkle in Time. Anyway, they were doing a review of it, and they said, and they used the word unencumbered because they were talking about her, about Ava DuVernay's new miniseries about the Central Park Five, and they said they really enjoyed her unencumbered view. They enjoyed the fact that her view was completely unencumbered by any attachment to reality whatsoever. Here's a little quote from one of the reviews from Slate. And they're talking about When They See Us, and it says, her approach is refreshingly unencumbered, unlike, say, the various works about O.J., which explained the long racial history in L.A. to help us understand the socio-cultural movement. In this specific quote, in this specific instance, there's actually a withering assessment of those very socio-cultural forces. They were simply racist. There's no reason to overcomplicate it. Wow. So in that spirit of being unencumbered from the truth, unencumbered from reality, I'm going to tell you with 100% certainty how all these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of black movies showing black victimization and white racism, how they all get made. So somebody, could be a white person, or maybe a black person's with them. They walk into one of these big studios, or they walk into some, big company with lots of investors, and they go, I would like to make a movie about white racism and black victimization. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a documentary or a drama, but I'll figure that out later on. All of a sudden, the white guy starts fumbling. The head, the guy's taking the meeting, the film executive, he starts fumbling around in his top desk drawer. And the people in front of him go, hey, are you listening to us? What's the matter? You have something more important to do? And the guy goes, no, I'm just getting out my checkbook. How many zeros should I put on the end of this check to give you money to make your movie about white racism and black victimization? And the only answer is, well, how many you got? That's how these movies get made. That's how these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of movies get made with all the same message, white racism, black victimization. I'm kind of grateful to Comcast for putting them all in one place. And, did you know there were so many? Look at them all, one after another, and guess what? These are just the recent ones. These don't even go back. I don't even think on this list, in these pictures, you're going to see the picture of the film. What was that picture with the three black women who saved NASA? I forget what it's called. How could I forget that? I'm a bad person. And so anyway, I was surprised, and if I'm surprised, maybe I think you're going to be surprised too at how many of these there are and how they just keep getting made over and over and over, every single one. No, I didn't say most of them. I said every single one is detached from reality. Well, here's another group of films that aren't listed in this little list. All the ones that Google and YouTube paid tens of millions of dollars to make. Yeah, they paid tens of millions of dollars to just sprinkle money over filmmakers as long as they talked about white racism and black victimization. Now here's where, to me, it gets a little weird. So, hundreds and hundreds of these movies, and when one little guy with one little computer, one little microphone, one little point of view, and maybe a few reporting chops in his back pocket comes along and says, well, I don't really agree with that. I think we need a contrasting point of view to expose these things. And I'm not going to call anybody any names. I'm just going to look at what you said, and I'm going to contrast with what you said or what you showed on video on what the truth is. And the truth is, black crime and violence and dysfunction is wildly out of proportion in this country. And it's nobody's fault except the people who are criminal and violent and dysfunctional. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. You know, all of us, as we go through life day to day, our single biggest challenge from the time we were children is learning how to take 100% responsibility for our own lives. And when you cross that barrier, if you ever do, that's when you cross the barrier from being a child to being a fully functioning adult. That's really an essential part of the path. I don't see one of these movies, one of these things you're looking at right now that's ever even gotten close to getting anywhere near that barrier. So why don't we look at a couple of trailers, almost, I don't use this word lightly, picked at random from the Comcast Black Movie section. So if you go to that Black Movie section, you're not only going to see lots of black documentaries and black films, you're going to see lots of black networks. So it's kind of a rabbit hole. Once you go down and start clicking, there are many rooms in that house. So we can't possibly talk about everyone, but why don't we get a little flavor of the fairy tales that people, black and white, are eagerly ingesting every day.
Today's Sandy Speaks is going to focus directly on my white people. What I need you to understand is that being a black person in America is very, very hard.
I will light you up. Get out!
Wow.
Now!
Sandy called me, let me know that she had been arrested. How do you go from failure to signal a lane change to dead in jail by alleged suicide?
I believe she let them know. I'll see you guys in court, and I believe they silenced her.
We're southbound on Paxton. There appears to be 3 male blacks in the vehicle. It's a white Hyundai, I believe.
At any time during this evening, did it go through your mind that this was not a human being that you were beating?
The police approach black men as criminals first and citizens second.
Tonight we must tell our children that for African American children and adults, freedom is not yet a reality in the United States.
If they cannot get a conviction with the Rodney King video available, there can be no justice in America.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
Today, this jury told the world that what we all saw wasn't a crime.
This is a travesty of justice!
We have to show Los Angeles that we are resilient.
There's been a mini riot at this location.
Our people have suffered not only civil rights, but the right to be a human being. How many more Rodney King does it have to be?
Now they're pulling the driver out. They're beating the driver.
Oh my God. How much worse does it need to get?
Proclamation of a state of emergency for Los Angeles City.
We have no police support whatsoever.
This is not fair! This is not fair!
My name is Star. 2 R's. Daddy named me that. Garden Heights. Mama and Daddy says our life is here because our people are here. We got Mr. Rubin's barbecue, Mr. Lewis's barbershop, and Daddy's store. The high school is where you go to get jumped, high, or pregnant. We don't go there. Williamson is another world, so when I'm here, I'm Star version 2.
Yo, those kids are lit.
Basically, Williamson Star doesn't give anyone a reason to call her ghetto, and I hate myself for doing it. Until the weekend comes around.
I get those goosebumps every time.
What's up? Where you been at? Man, I don't know. You be hanging with all the white kids.
Shut up. When you're not around, when you go that
Out of the car. Yo, Star, you okay?
Go back where he told you. Khalil, I'm not playing. Go back where...
What did you do?
Today, Garden Heights is reeling after the shooting of a 17-year-old black teenager by a white police officer.
We live in a complicated world.
It doesn't seem that complicated to me.
Violence, brutality. It's the same story, just a different name.
Freddie Gray, a young man arrested by Baltimore City Police last weekend, has died.
The Freddie Gray incident wasn't the cause of the uprising. It was just probably that last straw that broke the camel back. After decades of crying out.
What do we want? Justice! And when do we want it? Now!
History will one day look back and identify this year to define when American policing began to change.
I mean, something at that moment, like, snapped inside of me. It was just like, I can't just sit on the sideline. And that's what this is about.
I want you and Fox News to get out of Baltimore City because you're not here reporting about the boarded up homes, you're not reporting about the poverty levels, but you're here for the black riots.
I'm not an organizer, I wasn't a protester for any of this happened. I'm learning as I go.
We're in a community where it's underserved and over-policed.
A black woman speaks truth and society loses its mind.
You don't believe that people should hear a progressive message about race from a white person.
That's not why you're doing this. You're just doing it to get back at me.
Hey, I was gonna meet,
I'm not a white nationalist.
You want a cookie or something? I've always said to be a Negro and relatively conscious is to be in a rage almost all the time. Damn, Alec Baldwin was a genius.
Is my mom here?
It's just us. You and us.
Who you were in the park with? I don't know names. I just got lost.
Where did you see the lady?
One lady.
The female jogger was severely beaten and raped. Every black male who was in the park last night is a suspect. I need all of them.
What's going on with my son?
Your son was involved in rape in Central Park.
What? No,
Wait a minute. Wait a second.
They saw you rape the lady. I didn't see a lady or hit anyone.
I didn't see any lady.
Kevin.
I didn't see any lady.
I want to see my son right now. Right now.
Whatever they said I did, I didn't. I know.
Nothing in these boys' state matches the central facts of the crime. All we need is for one to tie this whole thing together.
These tapes are not as clean as the state would have you believe.
There is injustice happening here.
There is not one shred of evidence.
Imagine the frenzy of these teenagers ripping off her
They
clothes.
are innocent of these crimes.
They are guilty.
Why are they doing us like this?
What other way they ever do us?
I've been having these dreams. I keep hearing these footsteps. And they coming closer and closer. That's me. Coming to bring you home.
They said if I went along with it, that I could go home. And that's all I wanted.
The police will do anything. Lie on us, they will lock us up, they will kill us.
This is my life.
And so the last one is the latest one. It's the When You See Us about Central Park 5. The great Jack Kerouac, he's written a couple articles closely detailing with facts exactly what happened that day and how the people that were caught, released, and received $40 million from Bill de Blasio for being unjustly convicted were guilty as hell. I'm going to get Jack on this on my podcast and on my videos pretty soon to talk in some detail about that.
Please, sir. I want some more.
What? In the meantime, enjoy your black movies. And if you happen to think when you're watching them, hey, where's the contrasting point of view? Where's the other point of view? Is there one? I wouldn't suggest you say that at work or at your church or maybe even at your family picnic, because that is guaranteed to make the black kids angry. Don't get the black kids angry.